questions about your depth chart. I know you tend to try to stay away from starters and kind of don't think that makes that much difference. But a couple of questions about it. How about Stallworth? Is he going to start?
Yes, he'll start at the split end. Michael Rector will play, but Rollins is going to start.
Did this have anything to do with Rector's suspension? No comment. Well, okay. What about Kajust? How's he?
He's coming along. He'll play. We'll see where we are at the end of the week. Both he and Francis will play. They'll split that position pretty much throughout the game.
Kaspers and Tucker, they're set as the starters at this point.
Yes.
And Palma. What about Palma and Perez at the inside?
They're both going to play. You know, who takes the first snap? I mean, we'll see. But I think they're both going to split those reps pretty much evenly. And both have had really good camps, so I'm really excited about where those guys are right now.
Will they be rotating by like package type thing, or is it?
Yeah,
series,
they'll probably by series. Probably by series. You know, each guy will get a few series here and a few series there. And then, you know, depending on the tempo and all that stuff, if we need to rotate them differently, then we will. But we plan on leaving them in for a series at a time, at least.
And the same with Holder and Murphy at
pretty
the
much
corner?
Pretty much by series.
You have 4 true freshmen listed on the depth chart, 3 defensive backs and Jake Bailey. Will all 4 play this year? Has that been determined?
There's a good chance. There's a good chance that they'll play. There's a chance that some of the guys that are not on the depth chart may find their way on the field also. So.
Do you have anybody in mind that's not on the field?
Not that I'll talk about before the game.
What about Bailey and Robinson? Who will punt in this game?
We're still looking at that, and when Coach Alomar's ready to make that announcement public, we can make it announcement. Or if we don't make it public, we might not. But I mean, there's a good chance we might roll those guys through also. He and I are going to talk about it, really probably after tomorrow's practice.
You've got about 8 or 9 guys who are going to be making their first start on defense.
Feels like a lot more, but yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Was very confident, but still uncertain a little bit. The beginning of training camp, I feel really good right now about the guys playing within the scheme, knowing where their help is, doing their responsibilities, and also having the talent enough to do it. You know, I mean, our 2 guys splitting the corner right now, with Elijah and Alamine, have had great camps. I have all the confidence in the world. Those guys going out there and playing extremely well. You know, as a coach, you learn not to expect perfection, but to push guys towards perfection. And so there are going to be mistakes, but high effort and great technique makes up for mistakes. So it's not going to be a perfect game, but I think those guys are going to play well.
You obviously don't have any tape on Clayton Thorson, but what do you know about him?
Not a whole lot. And you know, so for us, we have to play our defense. We have to anticipate them having wrinkles for us, because I think they'll have wrinkles for everybody that they play. You know, we're not sure what kind of an athlete it is, but we got to be ready for gun run stuff. We got to be ready for multiple formations and personnel groupings, and you know, the up-tempo offense, and so we got to be ready for all that.
Coach, giving the long shot outs, I know you've talked about this before, but to have a Cal guy come to Stanford and transfer, it's not been a whole lot of. How fortunate do you feel to have him?
Very. Because first and foremost, he knows how to work. You know, he knows how to work like our guys. He's very smart. He knows the game plan, knows what his responsibilities are, and he goes hard, and he plays with tremendous effort. And he's done everything we've asked of him. And now, you know, from a football standpoint, you know, just being able to say we've got a guy that's got experience. You know, he's played in games and played in big games. He played against most of the competition we're going to play against this year. That's very comforting. You know, he's not a big vocal guy, but he's a lead by example guy. So he's been able to have a leadership role with his own personality, even though he's a guy that just showed up here a couple months ago. And he's fit into our room extremely well. And now, in particular, right now, we've got 4 guys we feel great about rotating in. Jordan Watkins has started to have a really good camp. So really, to say we could have 5 guys be ready to play back inside, I think has helped us a lot.
Eric Condon wasn't listed on the depth chart. Is he doing okay?
Eric's doing okay. You know, we're working through a lot of things, but he's doing fine.
Is there anybody who's not going to play in this game?
From a health standpoint,
yeah.
I think we're pretty healthy, especially in our 2 and 3 deep. We're pretty healthy. We've got a couple of young guys that are banged up, but you know, none of our guys that we're counting on the play right now are banged up. We're pretty healthy.
Are there any of the regular two deep people who won't play for any other reason than injuries?
That is a not great question that I'm not going to answer. Those are called coaches' decisions. Those are coaches' decisions.
Well, no.
I don't run coaches' decisions by any of you guys.
Obviously, I mean, other than coaches' decisions,
right.
I'm looking at.
And why would I unblur that line for you? Why would I unblur that line for you? You need to have some blurred lines in your life. It's good for you guys. Builds character right here.
You can't knock the guy for trying.
I never blame you for trying, Fitz.
If there were to be a disaster at the quarterback position, who would be second up?
It depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. I think we have an idea of what both guys can do well. If we get to the point where, hopefully in a positive way, that we get a chance to play those guys. Hopefully get a chance to play both of them. That's what I would love to do. Because I think they both can do some good things, and we've gone as far as we can evaluating in practice. It's time to when we have the opportunity to evaluate some game time, and I'd love to come out of this game and both guys play a little bit. The score is inconsequential, and we have potential plays for both those guys. So it's not just if the score gets out of whack. It's just I think there are two guys that are ready to play, and much like we did with Kevin, started rotating Kevin in, and we may get to the point where neither guy plays it down. Okay? But we have a plan for both guys depending on the situation. I would love to get out of this year with both of those guys playing a lot of significant snaps because I think we need them.
What kind of a back is Justin Jackson?
When you go through a lot of the the publications, and we've had some crossover games with Big Ten teams, and his name doesn't ever really come up, and I think that does the young man a disservice. He runs physical, he runs hard. He's one of those guys that runs like he doesn't want you to tackle him. He runs with an attitude, and especially the kind of team that we are, those guys stand out to us. I love guys that run tough and run physical and can break tackles, and so we have a lot of respect for him.
Who else on that team concerns you the most aside from him?
Well, for us, we try hard not to pinpoint one guy. I think they're extremely well coached. I think they play really well together. You watch the big games they played last year. They played hard, they played physical, and they played to the end. They're one of those teams that are, a reflection of their head coach. Tough, serious, no nonsense, but at the same time, you better keep up with their tempo. We've had some experience, but not yet this year. This is our first tempo test of the year, and we got to be able to, count on our training, our off-season training, and we got to be hydrated. We got to be able to rotate some guys because we got to keep up with their tempo.
I know you saw tapes of all their games last year, but
yes.
Did the Cal game teach you anything in particular? I know that Cal's way different from you.
Cal offensively is different than us, but we still spread some people out periodically. We'll change personnel groupings and change formations, and I thought there's some good things on that film. There's some good things on the Penn State film. There's good things on the Michigan film. There's good things on every film on both sides of the ball. But as we always do, we can't lose sight of who we are. We're going to be who we are. But you look at all those games just to see how a team lines up differently to different formations in the games that they play.
How difficult is it getting used to or getting ready for game one each year when there is no current film on anybody?
It's always tough. It's always tough. And we always talk about, especially those of us that have been in the NFL. The NFL, you have some preseason game at least, especially versus new teams. But college football, with the turnover that you have with graduating guys, and you don't know about the guys that didn't play last year, they're going to come into prominent roles. And just like I do, Fitz will have some secrets that he keeps up until game time, which is fine. But usually, midway through that first game, you've got first of all, a better idea of who you are. Then you've got a better idea of who you're playing because they may have installed a new defense, or may have a new blitz, or maybe have a couple of wrinkles on offense that they haven't put on film last year. So that's the excitement of college football. You'll go in the first game not really completely knowing what you have on your side or their side.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.